So, hello and welcome to Intuitive Connection. I'm your host, intuitive counselor, and spiritual guide, Victoria Shaw. And today I'm really excited, first of all, to be in front of the camera. This is a new thing for me. And we are 5 years into this podcast. But I'm just recently adding this video component. And those of you who are listening on Spotify or iTunes, worry not. We will continue there too. But I've just been feeling the call to come in front of the camera a little bit more. So here I am doing this. And those of you who are watching this on YouTube or other video platforms, be patient with me because I'm not used to having the camera on. But today I wanted to tune in and share an experience that I had today around losing some things or misplacing some things that were somewhat important to me or dear to me. And, the message and meaning that came to me around all of that. And some of you know, if you've been following the show, that I recently got a new car. And I got the new car kind of by, the default, like things led up to it. I've been thinking for a while that I kind of wanted a new car, but I didn't really feel like, I guess I didn't feel like I deserved it. Like this wasn't the time to spend the money, yada, yada. But I was thinking that I really wanted one. And I was also having an issue with the car itself. A part of it was broken in the back. The sensor that opened the back hatch of the car wasn't working. And I was told that to fix it, I would need to have body work, which seemed like it was going to be really expensive. So I was making do, but it was annoying. It was bothering me. And I had this passing thought, happened to me a couple of times that, something could crash into my car and necessitate an insurance claim that would get that problem fixed. And lo and behold, one day I was driving on the highway and I saw an accident, a collision happened behind me. And as I was thinking about if this was going to impact me, it did. So it was a 3-car collision. I was the third car, totally fine. But my car did sustain significant damage to the back of the car, necessitating a complete, rejigger of that back hatch, which, would solve the problem. But it didn't end there. It didn't end there. And, it's funny because as it was happening, my intuition and my immediate knowing was, oh, yeah, here we go. You asked for that, right? And sometimes we do. Now, I could have, solved the problem by saying, I really, really want the back of this car fixed, and I'm really going to spend the money now to do it. And I didn't. But on some level, the universe is always responding to us. And I wanted to get that car fixed, but I also kind of wanted a new car. It's true. So, they started to fix the car. The insurance has been phenomenal. But a couple, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks in, they got into the car and they looked and they said, it's going to need more work than we thought it was. And we're going to ask your insurance if they're going to want to replace, scrap the car or do the work. So that night there was, they told me this in the afternoon on Pacific Coast time, but my insurer is on Eastern Coast time. So, I had a night to mull it over. And I thought to myself, am I ready to get a new car? Am I ready to get a new car? I mean, part of me was really, really excited because I've been thinking in the back of my mind for a long time that I kind of wanted a new car. But now I had to I might have to make a decision. And I was thinking about 2 different cars. I was thinking about getting either a kind of downsizing a little bit so that I would have less kind of repair costs because I was driving not a super high end car, but a higher end car. That's kind of expensive to fix, to do all the maintenance and everything on, or getting a more basic car that was really awesome. I can tell you the 2 cars, it doesn't matter. I was deciding between, I have a Lexus. I was thinking about keeping my Lexus RX or downsizing a little bit, getting a Toyota CRV, which is the car that my kids have and my ex had. And, I've driven it and I'm comfortable with it, but I just wasn't sure what I wanted. So I did a little bit of a gasp thinking this nighttime, am I really ready to decide on a new car, right? Because if the insurance comes back and says, we're not going to replace your car, the next step is deciding what I want to do. So I thought about that. I went to bed. I wasn't sure. And lo and behold, the next day, the insurers came back and said, yeah, we're going to cover it. And, the repair continued. Meanwhile, I got myself a rental car, and that rental car was a CRV. And so I had the experience to drive that car. And it turned out I had the experience to drive that car for quite a while because the part that they needed to fix, the back hatch of my car, the thing that probably inadvertently sent the law of attraction in motion to have someone slam into the back of my car was back ordered. It was back ordered, so it was not forthcoming. And they kept saying it's going to be a little longer. It's going to be a little longer. We're waiting for this part. And so I had this opportunity to drive the CRV and to feel into that and to feel into if that's what I wanted. Moreover, because the law of attraction is always working out for me and you as well, I just often pay attention to it. One day I was like, I was thinking about different cars to get if I was to get a new car, right? And like one day, one of my neighbors, like just walking by my property, comes over, introduces himself again, and says, I noticed that you used to drive a Lexus and now you're driving a CRV, and I'm in the market for a new car, and I'd like to know what you think about the two different vehicles. And I explained to him the situation, and that I was just the CRV was a rental car, and he was like this car aficionado, and he started giving me all this information about both cars that really helped me to hone in on if I was going to get a new car, what I was looking for. So that was really phenomenal, and more information. So again, when when I thought I had to make that decision and I wasn't ready and I wanted more information, the universe immediately complied. Number one, it gave me a little more time with that CRV to see how much I liked it, if I really wanted to get that car. And it also brought my neighbor right to my door with all the information that I needed, to support me in making the decision and answering some lingering questions that I had about different configurations of cars I could get. So meanwhile, I kept driving that CRV for a really long time. And one day I just woke up and I knew, I'm like, I don't want another CRV, and I don't want a CRV, and I don't really want my car back. Like, it was dragging on and dragging on and dragging on. And I had a sense of like, I don't want it back. Like, I don't miss this car. I'm not anxious to have it again. I'm done with it. I'm over. I'm ready to move on. And so I went to the dealership and I put the deposit on my new car. And, as soon as I made that decision, I felt so free. I just felt like this is it. This is beautiful. And everything flowed really beautifully from there. I thought I was going to have my car back for like a couple of weeks or a month, in between, just by the timing of when they said the new car was going to be ready and the old car was going to be fixed. But it turned out that the new car came early and the old car continued to be delayed. So I am now having the keys of my brand new car, and I got to go say goodbye to the old car at the collision place at the body shop. But she was immediately and directly transferred to the dealer as part of my trade-in. So I got to say goodbye, but not get behind the wheel again. So it was a pretty miraculous story. And the thing that happened to me today is that I recovered a bunch of things from that old car. And when I went to switch over the collision shop, the body shop gave me all the things that they recovered from the car, like little mementos and stickers and things that were in the car, and a couple of things that were probably important. And I put them in my garage, and I had the intention of, organizing them back into the new car. And today, when I went to do that, I discovered they were gone. And I have a feeling that they went away with some stuff that I donated by accident. And my heart sank a little bit, and yours probably did too, because it's always frustrating when things disappear that we don't mean to let go of, right? But I felt into it, and I realized, right, that I have to go with the flow. I have to go with the flow. And what I wanted in this new car was sort of a new start, a new clean slate. And sometimes we let go of those old things, those old memories, those old attachments, those old energies, because they are no longer resonant for us. They are no longer resonant for us. And we can, remember those things and honor those things. And perhaps it would have nice to be able to have a photograph of those things. But if they are no longer in my world, it simply means they are no longer resonant with my vibration. End of story. End of story. Those things are gone because they are no longer resonant with my vibration, including my old car, right? And look, sometimes we need these nudges from the external world, right? To help us recognize what we are ready to let go of. And the guys are chiming in now and they're saying, each of these losses that you have experienced as of late, these unexpected, experiences. And like I said with the car, I would have this passing thought for a couple of months. Oh, I don't want to get into an accident or have my car be banged into, as an excuse to like get this fixed. I don't need to have that happen. Please don't have that happen. And yet I didn't make any outward changes when I had that nudge. So I probably felt that that was in the pipeline, right? That was in the pipeline of the next, the next consequence that I had was attracting into my space. And all in all, I can't say I'm totally unhappy with it. Of course, it might have been smoother and easier if I had just made the decision to get a new car, right? But the way this flowed wasn't so bad either, right? It gave me all of the opportunities and all the time to make that decision. And I cannot tell you how much I love my new car. I love it so much. It's the perfect car, and I'm so happy. And we are forging a beautiful relationship. We are BFFs. I tend to have personal relationships with my vehicles. Right. But anyway, right. Sometimes we just have these backdoor ways of making these decisions in life when something's no longer aligned with us, but maybe we mentally can't make that choice ourselves. Right. The universe comes in and just releases that thing for us because we are ready to let go. And this is reminding me of another situation that's come into my orbit as of late. It has to do with a friend of mine. And this friend has been saying for a really long time that she's getting to the end of her career, right? That she's getting ready. She's like, I've reached the pinnacle of my career. I've taken it as far as I can go, and I'm starting to think about moving on and what I want to do next, but I just don't know when the timing is right. And she's been saying this for as long as I've known her, and I've known her now for about 3 years. So, that's a lot of time. And the other day, she messaged me and she said, by the way, I have news. My division is, the company that I'm working for is closing my division, and I'm going to be out of a job. And my first thought, friends, because sometimes I'm looking at the soul lens and not through that human vantage point. My first one was like, congratulations, isn't that what you wanted? Right. And that was the same response I had to a great degree when I had my accident. My nervous system was a little bit rattled because it's just never fun. But the first thought that came into my mind when I had that experience is, oh, here we go. You asked for this. Yep. I swear to you, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, yep. There it is. Right. But for my friend, she was not in that vantage point. So she was like, yes, but what about my health insurance? And I wanted to choose the time this happened and I'm not ready yet. And I respect that. I respect her humanness, just as I respected my humanness this morning when I realized that those boxes were gone. It still feels a little bit funky, that stuff I didn't mean to give away is now, at a Goodwill somewhere being sorted through. And I wanted it and I thought I wanted to put that back into my car, right? But sometimes life works that way. It works that way. And sometimes the right time, right, is not that the time that our reluctant monkey mind decides is going to be the right time, which could be never. Sometimes the right time is just when it happens. The right time is now. And so for me, the fact that my friend lost her job at that time tells me, and I'm sure she's going to hear this soon too, that was the right time for her to make that move and make that choice, right? The universe just opened the door and said, okay, friend, you've been asking, right? Here's your answer. And often how life works for us. It's often how life works for us. And sometimes we have this synchronicity and flow where everything feels easy and graceful. And, it's all feels like we're deciding it and we're completely, driving the metaphorical car. And other times, right? We're driving down the highway and all of a sudden we find ourselves on the side of the road, with the back part of our car all dinged in. I was totally fine, like physically, not a problem, just a little bit of ouchie in my neck. But the deal is, right? Like sometimes that's how it flows. And when we can recognize that both experiences are valuable, that both experiences from a spiritual standpoint are totally equivalent, right? The guides aren't looking down and say, we gave you a car accident, Victoria, because you didn't get the memo and you didn't buy a car when we told you to. My monkey mind might be saying that, hopefully not, giving myself a hug. But I know my guides and my higher self, they're just cheering me on. They're like, you could do it this way, you could do it that way. And this was the best way for you to do it now. Right? And I honor that. I honor that. And I attend to the human part of myself, right? That's still a little bit skittish when I'm driving down the highway. I attend to that human part of myself that's a little bit sad that I lost all the really cool things that were hanging from my mirror, and now I'm going to have to find something else. But I also trust that the energy that brought those things into my life, just like the energy of that sweet car, right? It's no longer the energy that I want to take with me moving forward. I'm on a new path, on a new venture, on a new phase of my life, on a new moment now. Right? And in order to roll with that, sometimes we have to be prepared to let go of what's no longer resonant. Right? And sometimes we get to decide with our egos aligned, and other times we just got to trust and let go. Right? So if you're asking yourself, when is the time to make this next big decision? Right? When will I know if this is the right thing to do? When will I know if it's time to get a new car, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Right? Just understand that oftentimes when you set that intention and you get out of the way, you can just allow life to show you. You can just allow life to show you. And the more that you respond to whatever is happening in life, right? By tuning back in, by allowing, by trusting, by listening, by flowing, the more you will be living your light just as your soul intended. And the guides chime in and say, the easier this roller coaster ride of a human experience will be for you, right? The more it will feel like a really fun ride, right? And less like you're getting all shaked up in a blender. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that some of you guys can see some of your stories in this one for me. I am super excited to figure out when I'm going to hang from my dashboard from my mirror, because like I always like to have different fun things hanging there. And that's how I found my car in a parking lot. Is look for the one with the stuff hanging down, or maybe I won't get anything this time. I don't know, but I'm really excited to see where this new car and all of this new adventure will take me. And same for my friend, and same for all of you. So remember, my beautiful friends, the right time is now. And the more that we learn to listen to ourselves and allow life to flow exactly as it is, and to align ourselves with that, the more delicious, delightful, empowering, purposeful, and joyous our lives will become. All right, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in and being with me on one of my very first video podcasts. If you like this, please subscribe on YouTube, on Apple, on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever you are. Share with your friends. Send me some, make some comments, some kind words, write a 5-star review, do all that stuff. It makes a big difference for getting the word out there, which is something that I really love to do. And keep listening, keep enjoying, and know that I am grateful and feel a ton of love for each and every one of you. All right, then. Thank you so much, and namaste.